Good morning, friends. I welcome you to the class of Object Oriented Programming using C++. I am your instructor Namit Khanduja from Gurukul Kangadi Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar. So, contents for today are strings, enumerations, and arrays. So, to use strings in our file, we need to add a header file called string.h. String.h is a header file which allows you to use string as a data structure, as a data type, so that you can accept strings or manipulate strings. We can use we can use plus operator to append two strings, and we can call length method to find the length of the string. There are many more methods which you can find in string.h. Let us see examples for it. Yes, here is a file in which string name has been used. Here we have created a variable called name of string type, and we have used C to add it. See, if I write the full name, so it will avoid the second name, because Cin works only for it works till the white space. So if I type Suman Kumar, it will only take Suman. So to avoid that, if you want to have a full line, we need to use getLine method, which accepts a stream and a data type to add. Right? Let us see an other example. See, if you are mixing cin and getLine, it causes a little bit problem. Let us see a program. I have added something over here called limits. Right? We will see what is the use of it. Till now, it is asking for user to pick one or two. If users enter one or two, and then if we ignore this line, then we try to ask user what is your name and accept it in name, it will not show the proper output, as the cin appends /n at the last. So what will happen, it will add two. Let us see, let me show you. It will add 2 and /n. So as soon as second line, which is asking for your name, it will see /n as input and it will skip. So to avoid this, we need to add this line, which flushes all characters till /n and remove the /n. And if you add this line, now it will ask the /n operator. It will ask your name, and then you can work around. Let's move on to other slide. Yes, let us see what are enumerations. Enumerations, the simplest user defined data type is the enumerated type. An enumerated type, also called an enumeration or enum, is a data type where every possible value is defined as a symbolic constant called an enumerator. Enumerations are defined via the enum keyword. Like here we have defined the enum keyword. Providing a name for an enumeration is an optional, right? I have given a name color. It is optional. Enums without a name are sometimes called as anonymous enums. Enumeration names are often named starting with the capital letter. Enumeration must be given names and are typically named using all capital letters, right? Because enumerators are placed in the same namespace as the enumeration, an enumerator name can't be used in multiple enumerations with the same namespace. See, this is enumeration, these are enumerators. We have created two enumerations having red, blue, green, happy, tired, blue. As enumerators have same namespace, then this blue and this blue will conflict. So we need to have different names in different enumerations also. Basically, the enumeration is like giving names to the numbers. Let us see another thing. Enumerations are automatically assigned an integer value based on its position in the enumeration list. By default, the first enumerator is assigned the integer value 0 and each subsequent enumerator has a value 1 greater than the previous enumerator. Like here, we have not assigned any value. By default, it will be assigned 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as we go on further. Let us see another example for it. Here we have defined an enumeration called animal with a value -3. Let me explain you more. It is possible to explicitly define the value of enumerator. These integer values can be positive or negative and can share the same value as other enumerators. Any non-defined enumerators are given a value 1 greater than previous enumerator. Let us see. I have an example, animal cat equal to -3. I have not assigned these two values over here. Hence, one greater value will be -2 and -1. Again, I have assigned a value 5 over here and 5 over here. So both values can be used for this. Here again I have not defined, then the value greater than this will be 6. Let us move on. Because enumerated values evaluate to integer, they can be assigned to integer variables. This means they can also be output as integers. Since stdcout knows how to output integers, I have given an example in it. Int mypet equal to animal underscore pig. Now if I put mypet, it will give the value which was assigned to animal underscore pig. If animal underscore horse is given a value, it will print that integer value. The compiler will not implicitly convert an integer to an enumerated value. However, it can be done using static casting. Let's move on. Arrays. An array is an aggregate data type that lets us access many variables of the same type through a single identifier. Each of the variable in an array is an element. Elements do not have their own unique names. Instead, to access individual elements of an array, we use the array name along with the subscript operator, that is these square brackets, and a parameter called a subscript. This is the parameter that is called a subscript or index that tells the compiler which element we want. This process is known as subscripting or indexing the array. Index always starts with the 0 and ends at n-1, where n is the size of the array. If you are initializing a fixed array of elements using an initializer list, the compiler can figure out the length of the array for you, and you can omit explicitly declaring the length of the array. Lastly, when declaring a fixed array, the length of the array between the square brackets must be a compile time constant. So here what is the syntax of the array is, you have to write the data type which it will hold, name of the array and the size. For the sake of example, int cases 3. It will hold 3 values starting from 0 to 2. To assign a value, we need to give the exact index and the value. Cases 0 will have 40, cases 1 will have 50, cases 2 may have something else. We can also assign using initialization list. Like Here we have defined the integer array positive, which will have 5 value 10, 14, 25, 30, 39. Index of 10 will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 0 to n minus 1. We can also omit this 5 and directly use this. So the length of the array is defined by the elements it has. Passing arrays to functions. Although passing an array to a function at first glance looks like passing a normal variable underneath the hood, C++ treats array a little bit differently. When a normal variable is passed by value, C++ copies the value of argument to the function parameter. Because the parameter is a copy, changing the value of the parameter does not change the value of the original argument. However, because copying large arrays can be very expensive, C++ does not copy an array when an array is passed into a function. Instead, the actual array is passed. This has a side effect of allowing functions to directly change the value of array elements. So, you must understand this. If you pass an array to a function, it is not passed by value. The values of arrays are not copied. The whole array is passed directly. So changing the value inside the function will affect the array. We can also have multi-dimensional arrays having multiple subscripts. For the sake of example, here we have created an array with 2 dimensions. This is called a row measure. The first left index tells the rows and second tells the column. Here is a way of defining it. We can also avoid this first subscript. C++ doesn't allow to define that both subscripts should be not present. Let's move on. Yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe to channel, post comments and suggestions. Thank you for the day.